It's Saturday, and you know what that means. We are back here on the Tired Sports Network, Josh and Nick, for Saturday Smack Talk, and it is a special, special day. Josh just moments ago said it should be deemed a national holiday. Josh, tell them what we got going on today.
Oh, today we've got our normal. We've got our WWE run through, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and Clash at Paris, which goes on today.
Tomorrow.
What? Tomorrow. Sorry.
Tomorrow.
And today's national holiday starts today. It is the official beginning of college football. We've been without any football for months upon months upon months, which feels like years. And it is back. It is better than ever. And they're kicking it off at noon. Number 1 Texas versus number 3 Ohio State. Penn State squeezed there in the middle at number 2. But we got a lot of big games. And then, of course, some big NFL news. Cowboys making some massive trades last minute right before the season starts. We'll go over that as well. And we'll talk about all the fallout from that major trade that we heard about this week.
Absolutely, absolutely. And before we can get into the fun stuff, because this week the go-home shows for Raw, for SmackDown, they were mid. And we start things off with Raw. Roman Reigns did kick off the show, and that was about the best part of the show. They put the very good stuff in the front in the first 20 minutes, and then from there it dragged. Martina and I, we sat here and we watched it, and we were like an hour and 20 minutes in, and we watched it later in the night. We watched it regular time, so we were able to fast forward through it, and we were at like an hour 47. I was like, this is crazy. It felt like we were sitting there for 3 hours at not even a little bit over halfway through the show. So welcome everyone, and bear with us as we dive into the Monday Night Raw from this Monday, the Go Home show, and then we roll into SmackDown from last night. It was good. It was okay. I would say it was better than last week's. And last week I fell asleep and didn't watch it. I solely got all my information from the highlights and the article for the results on WWE.com. We'll go through and get through Raw, SmackDown, and what it means for Clash in Paris. Little news that broke late last night. Or maybe they announced this on the show. I just missed it. The tag titles will be defended at Clash in Paris on Sunday, the Wyatt Six against the Street Profits. They did win the number 1 contendership, but we'll get more to their match here in just a moment. And then, like you said, hammer down on college football. But we start with Raw. Roman and Bronson Reed opened it up and just chatted for about 20 minutes. Then we saw Roman 2 other times throughout the show. It did its job in making it feel like a big deal, kind of similar to Logan Paul and John Cena last night on SmackDown, the face-to-face, the promos, the calling out. Also, I did want to mention that Cody got booed whenever Roman mentioned and started to just mention the thought of him, and Rollins was getting some mega heat. What were your thoughts on the opening segment of Raw?
I loved it. I thought it was a great way, since they didn't really build up this feud over weeks upon weeks upon weeks like they normally do, or the typical fashion should be. I think they did enough to build momentum to this match right there in that 20-minute segment. I do think Bronson needs some work on his promos, but I think they set it up very well. I feel like we're going to get a Roman's going to get his shoes back and he's going to beat the bully, but I think it was a good amount of build-up because of the quality of the promo, especially coming from Roman, when he was like, oh, you're right about one thing. You're not going to come up here, but I'm going to go down there.
Yeah.
And, we had the brawl between Bronson and Roman, and I think, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I think that's probably going to be the best match of Clash at Paris. So,
yeah. It very, very well, very likely that it will be. Yes, 1,000%. It did its job, and that's about it. Raw, it felt like a big deal. because it was over there, because it was the go home show, and because they announced that Roman Reigns was kicking off the show, and then it just went downhill from there. Quite honestly, I mean, we had Dragon Lee against JD McDonough. Dragon Lee did pick up the win, and Finn. There was more after that with Mysterio and the rest of the Judgment Day. Finn Balor seemingly is still playing both sides, where Pierce did announce that Dominic Mysterio will defend the Intercontinental title against AJ Styles on the Raw after Clash in Paris. Your thoughts on potential Finn kicking Dom out and run off with JD, and where does that leave Roxanne and Raquel? And then when Liv Morgan comes back, my goodness, what else? What is going on in the world of the Judgment Day?
I don't see Judgment Day splitting up at all. I think they're going to keep the status quo. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. If they were going to break them up, they've had plenty of chances and they haven't. I don't see them breaking them up before Liv Morgan gets back, because everyone wants to see, Roxanne and Liv and the Dom love triangle there. I don't see them breaking them up anytime soon, really. Especially with them losing the titles, I think they're gonna play that up with Roxanne lost the titles when Liv comes back. She'd have never left it or lost the titles, and I don't see them. For some reason, they're going to keep building up this potential separation, and then they're just going to keep them together.
Yeah, it's run its course. Honestly, it has run its course with the Judgment Day and teasing it and doing this and doing that. It's really it has done its course, moved and gone through. It's stale. It's overplayed every week now. Finn Balor is seen like smiling or laughing at Dom's expense, and I'm over it. They could break them up. They probably won't, like you said, and that's just where we're at, unfortunately. And Dom is, I can't wait for him to actually break away and do his own thing and be his own star. And if that is with Liv, if that is with Roxy, whoever it ends up being with, but the whole I don't know, the Judgment Day thing, it just needs something different. I don't know if it needs Liv Morgan back and Roxanne and Liv to go and have their thing, but the Judgment Day is getting stale. But like you said, they probably are not going to break them up anytime soon. They've had plenty of chances to do it, and they have not done it yet. Kind of like the New Day, which is going into our next match. Kofi Kingston does pick up the win over Penta, and Grayson Waller being involved with the New Day now is getting funnier and funnier every week. And why they keep going back and forth with Penta and kind of lumping him with these comedic relief, New Day and Grayson Waller now, where he brought out a petition to get the Pile Driver banned or Mexican Destroyer banned, one of the two banned from WWE or banned again, I guess I should say. And Corey Graves was signing it, and it's great what they're doing, and taking Grayson Waller in, and hopefully soon he can break out to be his own thing. Then I mean, not much to give on this one, so we'll group Becky calling out Nikki Bella in with this one. Called out her for the announced Women's Intercontinental Championship match happening Sunday. She also referenced Ozzy Osbourne, and then the backlash online was absolutely massive. And I mean, it's the promo was great with Nikki and Becky, as it what would be expected. A lot of gifts, a lot of memes out of this one. But we have Becky Lynch against Nikki Bella on the card for Clash in Paris, and it is the final women's match on a PLE on Peacock. And because Stephanie Vaquer had her title match scrapped, she still remains the number one contender. But after Becky and Nikki, what's next and who's next, honestly, for Becky's Intercontinental title?
So as far as that segment goes, I loved it. I mean, Becky's great on the mic. I do think she's better on the mic than Nikki Bella. As far as what's next for Becky, it's Bailey.
Yeah.
It's Bailey. They've been really, obviously Lyra can't. And now that's all assuming that Becky wins at Clash of Paris, right?
Yeah.
Against Nikki Bella. This is also one of the things I was worried about with them bringing an Intercontinental Championship into the women's division is, now all these greats are going to try and come back because they want to be Intercontinental champions, and they're going to bring them into storyline so they can win the title and add some lineage to it, even though it's not really adding quality lineage to it if they win. It's just throwing another name on the list of Intercontinental champions in the women's division, right? So as far as what's next, Lyra can't challenge Becky, right? Because of that stipulation. And they've really been building up Bailey to take that next step with the promos where she's hearing voices and she can't figure out who she is. And, I feel like we're going to be getting a heel turn from Bailey pretty quickly, or maybe a psychotic Bailey who's a heel sometimes, good guy, a face some other times. We'll see. They can really, if they do this right, they can really just emphasize Bailey's character and her role in the company as more than just putting over young stars. And they can do something really freaking awesome with this, I think, if they do it right.
Yeah, it absolutely, Bailey, with what she's been doing with the vignettes and the voices and the hugger Bailey and the ding dong hello Bailey, maybe a mix of the two, and kind of fights it out. And 1 week is this, 1 week is that. She has the talk show. Will we see the Bailey buddies again? I mean, it's going to be. She's been doing really, really good stuff, really, really good stuff. And yeah, she could definitely be next in line for Bailey. I mean, she could possibly be the one that they choose to go up against Stephanie Vaquer, and that loss to Stephanie, because I don't see Stephanie losing. That loss to her for a title could send her over the edge. She finally snaps and then goes and attacks Becky. The later in the show, or however they end up doing it. But as long as it's not Rhea Ripley, which is next up in the matches here. But yes, Becky and Bailey, work great together. So the match there will be magical. Becky and Nikki, I'm excited for. Can't wait. And the outlash and backlash online of what she said about Ozzy when something about what was like, it was like, if I was from Birmingham, I would want to die too, or however she said it. And but Ozzy was smart because he moved to LA, a real city, or whatever, however she said it. And then his daughter didn't care for that too much and was chirping on her Instagram story. Much like Roxanne and Raquel attacking Rhea after the match and chirping, and of course, doing what they do. Io came out, and the alliance there is being teased and has been teased with backstage segments. And 20 minutes before, Io said that they need to go their separate ways and stay away from each other, because Asuka and Kairi, not a fan of that. And then what do you know? We see them embracing after basically saying, okay, we'll go our separate ways. And then we see Asuka and Kairi in the background. I mean, this one's going on for far too long as well. I mean, it's going back and forth. Rhea's never beaten Io, so now they're going to be buddy-buddy. It's going to lead back to probably one of them having a title and then the other turning on them. I mean, it's Rhea and Damian Priest both are better as heels. I know Rhea gets a massive pop because of the look, but it just the feel there is just off. And Io as a face, I mean, all she does is this. So this whole thing need to speed it up.
So let me touch back on, before I go into Rhea and Io, let me touch back on the Becky Lynch thing. So Kelly Osbourne actually called her a disrespectful dirtbag over what she said about her father, Ozzy, right? Because she said the only good thing to come out of Birmingham died a month ago,
Okay.
right? And which just, you know, perfect way to, I think, call me crazy, perfect way to compliment Ozzy, right? Because he's great. He came out of Birmingham. He's a legend. When she said LA was a proper city, so he did the right thing by moving to LA. And then she said, if I was in Birmingham, I'd die too. Kelly Osbourne absolutely hated it. And she got a lot of flack because obviously she doesn't know that it's not really meant by Becky Lynch, but it's just her heel persona that she's got right now. And Becky's absolutely killing it as a heel. Like she kills just about everything else that she does. So I just wanted to touch base on that. That was absolutely the reaction she was going for. And I love that it worked. As far as Rhea and Io, I made a prediction or a hot take last week. Did I not? Rhea, Io, the next tag team champions. I see them. I absolutely see them coming together. And I think this week laid some more seeds to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky becoming a tag team. The next Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, right? Except these guys don't mind calling each other friends. They don't mind using that word. Okay. And I think that would be an absolute phenomenal tag team. You've got the powerhouse in Rhea, right? She gets a pop. Io gets a pop. She's the high flyer, the big entertainer, right? And then let's say they become a tag team. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss still have the tag titles. How awesome would that be to have a Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss match versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky for the tag team championships? Phenomenal.
That would be, I mean, that the matchup alone is marquee. They could speed that up and do that at WrestlePalooza. That would be big time money on ESPN, which WrestlePalooza we know will be the first PLE on ESPN for WWE. And I'm sure they're going to stack the card as well as they can. And that would be phenomenal. I see exactly how you laid it out, and I love it. And we'll get into the fallout from SmackDown with involving the tag team titles, but Rhea and Io kind of is a similar style and matchup to Charlotte and Alexa. So I think all four of them would work really well together in the ring, and it would be a magical match. And again, fallout from SmackDown with the tag team champions. They're coming very soon. AJ Styles does defeat Finn Balor after Dom tells him to take care of the AJ Styles problem, and then that's whenever we see Pierce tell Dom that the match is official for the Raw after Clash. He also, how do you say? I forget what he said. He made another ball joke about Adam Pearce, and Adam Pearce then quote tweeted it and said, like, blah 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 says it's official, or however he said it. But again, the Rhea and Io thing I'm just happy she's staying away from the Judgment Day and she's staying away from her singles title. I have no problem with her being the tag team champion. Although I will say, if eventually it does circle back to Liv and Raquel going up for the tag titles, and then we have to see Rhea and Raquel again, I think a lot of people are going to scream. One of them being me. But AJ Dominic is confirmed, and it was a great match. It had there was a lot of aftermath for this one. This is where Finn was laughing and smiling whenever Pierce was telling Dom that he would have to defend the title again. Is this where the turn could happen with Finn ending up costing Dom the title there, and then bringing in AJ to the Judgment Day? I mean, he wears a lot of hats, so AJ Styles in the Judgment Day would not surprise me. It wouldn't be on my bingo card, I would say, but it wouldn't surprise me either.
So one quick thought that popped up when we were talking about, Rhea and Io and Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. There's also another tag team in there, right? So you've got Io, you've got Kairi Sane, you've got Asuka, right? The Kabuki Warriors. You got Roxanne, you got Raquel. Who's to say they don't somehow set up a 4-way tag team match for the tag team championships between Raquel and Roxanne, right? Because we've already established they're probably not breaking up Judgment Day. Then you've got the Kabuki Warriors who are upset at Io Sky becoming a tag team partner with Rhea. And then, of course, you've got the other two tag teams we've already mentioned that they just did a fatal 4-way tag team title match at the last PLE, right, for the men. Who's to say they won't do that for the women? You've got 4 solid tag teams that all would be within the storyline. It wouldn't be like just throwing some random tag team in there.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of got a tie to each other and tie to the storyline, so it would make sense. And you would have absolute all-stars in this match in a fatal 4-way tag team title match. I think it would be phenomenal. I would love to see it. WWE, if you need more ideas, come get me. I got you. I think that would be the ultimate. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think it's very much in the realm of possibilities that they go that route with the tag team with Rhea and Io. As for AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio, again, great match. I think Dom retains. I think Finn kind of helps him win. He's trying to not help him win, but he ends up accidentally helping him win. Or El Grande Americano comes out and helps him win. And then because let's not forget he's helped him win. He's helped him with the plate and the mask, and I definitely see Dom retaining. I think it's going to be a great match. I think they're really just trying to build Dom up, right?
Yeah.
And so, what's the best way to do it? Have AJ Styles put him over, and if AJ Styles loses this time, I think that kind of ends the feud between AJ and Dom. As long as Dom wins clean, I don't think he'll win clean, but because it's Judgment Day, it's Dom, it's El Grande Americano, it's Finn Balor, and it'll be an interesting match. But I like where they're taking Dom. I like that they're putting him over. They're building him up, and now he's more of the take lead type of wrestler, right? And that's why him and Finn are clashing. So, which is what they needed to do with him. So, the kid's talented. He's got all the experience in the world. He's a 20-year vet, right? And the greatest Mysterio of all time. So, let's see where they take it. I love this match. I'm super excited for it, and we'll see how it goes.
The 20-year vet at 28 years old is hilarious. It's still hilarious to this day. I mean, it would be another definitely would be another dirty win, and like you said, El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, Chad Gable, whichever one that whoever it is, showing up and then making Finn mad, and then they Finn or El Grande Americano, is gonna go in to save, or he stops Finn, and then Dom sees that, and then kind of puts more tension on the Judgment Day, and then Dom still has to figure out AJ Styles because he didn't beat him clean, and then Pierce does this match again because we know how they love to run matches back. So, but yes, building up Dom with AJ Styles again, beating him again, and then moving on would be great. And I mean, whatever helps Dom more. I don't think he should lose the title anytime soon. Should retain again and just start to defend it more. Honestly, he, like you said, 20-year vet at 28 years old. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm super excited for it. I love what, like I said, I love where they're taking Dom, and hopefully they keep running him up and getting him ready, because here in the next year, I could fully see him competing for big time championships, not just intercontinental titles or U.S. titles or tag team titles. I see him being solo, working towards the bigger titles, some world championships maybe in about a year. So,
which is crazy in its own right, because it feels like it was just yesterday that he was getting thrown around by Brock and then thrown around by Roman and the Thunderdome stuff, and then him and Ray together before pre-mullet, pre-mustache, super, like, literally babyface Dom. It's crazy to see how his progression in WWE overall. As it was for Braun Breaker, and we got a Fatal 4-Way preview. Braun Breaker defeats LA Knight. Roman does warn Jay about Punk and tells him, like, stop being in your head and stop doing things for other people. As Dom should start doing as well. Stop doing things for the Judgment Day and start to focus on you. And, because Finn was, telling him, hey, why weren't you out there for JD and all that good stuff. Jay ended up taking that to heart and super kicked both Punk and LA Knight after the chaos settled. And he stood tall, chirping at Rollins as Rollins backed away, went back down the ramp. So the main event did have some moments, but the show was bleak overall. There were some seeds planted. I think Rusev and Sheamus had another interaction. I still can't believe that this one is on a PLE. That is Sheamus's first singles match on PLE since 2022. And then just stories to watch, of course, like we said, Rhea and Io as a team, teasing that much like they do. Dominic and AJ Styles set title match for Raw after Clash, and then Roman talking to Jay there. And then, of course, Clash in the Castle builds do continue. We go over to SmackDown last night in Lyon, France. John Cena and Logan Paul rinse, wash, and repeat. Another face-to-face, another in the same building, another promo back and forth, and another article on WWE.com saying that John Cena verbally destroys opponent. Logan Paul, they did that with Cody Rhodes for weeks and weeks in a row. Same promo 2 weeks in a row, pretty much. Same feel on this retirement tour. It's pretty much just rinse, wash, and repeat at this point.
Yeah, I mean, let's be for real here, okay? John Cena has always been great on the mic, right? He's easily one of the greatest of all time on the mic, and we are absolutely excited for Clash. I hope it's better than what I think it's going to be. But yeah, I mean, Cena roasted Logan Paul. It's a YouTube influencer versus the greatest of all time. Never seen 17-time world champ, right? And or WWE champ. Awesome on the mic. One of the few that has gone toe-to-toe with people like The Rock, who's great at improvising on the mic, right? One of the greatest of all time on the mic. And so he absolutely cooked him, right? Stick a fork in him. He's cooked. And the big part that I love is they brought that kid back from Brussels. Remember the one with the red hat and everything? And he cooked that little kid, and when he was a bad guy, and everyone was like, "Oh man, he's really, that's rough." And they brought that kid back, and you got to meet John Cena, and it's great for coming back from being a heel. And I think personally, this is just going to make Logan better. Him getting cooked over and over and over again. He's learning from the best, right? And I hope he picks his brain and learns as much as possible, so that way he can be a great wrestler. Because it takes more, like I've said before, it takes more than just athleticism and an ability to pull off moves safely and effectively and make them look good. It's mic skills. You've got to, if you're a bad guy, you got to get the heat from the crowd. If you're a face, you got to get the pop when you come out. And because if you can't do that, it doesn't matter how good you are in the ring.
Yeah.
If you can't sell anything, there's going to be another Ricochet. Okay. Great athlete, mid at best on the mic, gone. So
yeah. He Logan is, although I don't know if he's learning from Cena anymore, because Cena is the professional pretender over here. I mean, he chugs a prime on Logan's show and then switches up and pushes over the new flavor. So I mean, it seems pretty fraudish to me. And then, all of a sudden he's telling us that we're toxic and he's in an abusive relationship with us, the fans. And now he's apologizing because he had a bad day. And then wants to bring up the past with Logan. And Logan just got married. He's over here saying about his legal trouble. Logan Prime just won a lawsuit from one of the totally bogus lawsuits that it's had in the last couple of years. They just won the lawsuit. It's gone. And now again, John went harder at Logan than he ever did with Cody. Yeah, absolutely. Would still be mad about that. John Cena, he apologized to the kid. I saw that, and that was great. I mean, it's easy to get cheers when you're going in there with Logan Paul, because the cool thing to do is hate on Logan Paul, and he eats it up. I saw a clip where he said 60,000 in 6 seconds or whatever. You're welcome, TKO, and he's absolutely right. Cena said about the 25 influencer list. Well, guess what? Logan's not an influencer anymore. He's a WWE superstar. So, whatever. He's got his prime, so he's got brands there. He's got WWE now. His show, his podcast is a Fanatics show now. Just saying, just putting that out there, and to be determined. I've always said, I
think that's supposed to be TBH.
Too early to be making my brain work. I've always said athleticism is least important part of wrestling. No one cares if you don't like the character. Yeah, you got to have a good mix of both, with the athleticism and the total, the 360 degrees of entertainment, athleticism, and entertainment in general, speaking on the mic, and the look. So definitely is the big big idea. Thank you, Miss Producer over there. John was cussing us out like a month ago. Cherry Primate. So that's where my cherry limeade went. Thanks. Thank you, Martina. I'm drinking Monster today. I'm sorry, Logan. I feel that would have been a perfect spot to throw Prime up there. TBG. To be okay, that's what I figured, but my brain,
we got you, Martina,
not working right now. Autocorrect is hating. It's probably the Cody Vengers out there in your phone being like, no, we can't let her be right. It's because you started
Prime had you going too hard. You're typing the wrong letters in.
Been there, done that. But yes, Logan Paul and Cena, same thing. I'm pumped for that match. And overall, Clash of Paris doesn't have a bad match book. It's just that the builds have been just mid. They do the same thing with these builds week after week. And it's just it's hard to get excited. But when you boil it down, there are some exciting matches on Clash of Paris.
Yeah, it's like you said, the builds have been mid at best. Roman Reigns and I think John Cena and Logan Paul's build-up has been good. They're the best out of, and which is crazy because Roman Reigns' build to Bronson Reed really spans maybe 2 weeks as far as momentum to the feud. I'm not counting the times he bullied him and took his shoes. This is bad 90s neighborhood gang movie, right? Like where he takes the shoes and throws them over the telephone wires and stuff. Like, I mean, for something that's taken 2 weeks worth of promos to build up and be one of the best build-ups is just absolutely insane to me. I will say I do like the build-up we've had with Drew, but we'll get to that in just a couple of matches. So, but yeah, really just mid build-up so far.
Yeah, and I mean, Martina, you are right. They do have a lot of PLEs back to back to back, weeks apart, so it is hard to do a build. But even, I mean, and I don't know if it's even the number of PLEs or if it's just the spacing between them. I mean, you go from WrestleMania right into to Backlash, so you can kind of continue those builds because it's the Fallout, but Backlash should be a mix of the feuds that didn't make Mania, and then all a mix of ones that were left unfinished. But again, a PLE is supposed to finish a feud, so it's like a lot too many PLEs, but also just poor choices in booking and writing, and just keeping the same people on the screens week after week after week when you have a roster full of talent, much like a talent that we haven't seen in about 2 years finally make her debut on the main roster. I'm pretty sure that was her main roster debut, and Kiana James, but of course that one was after Alexa Bliss defeated Chelsea Green. And I just realized our outline, it says that she defeated Charlotte Flair, but this match changed 3 different times. Piper Niven wasn't able to go, and then it changed to Chelsea Green and Alba Fire against Alexa and Charlotte for the tag titles. And then before the match started, they came out and attacked Charlotte, causing her to be unable to compete. So then it was Alexa and Chelsea, and Alexa does pick up the win. They lose the tag title opportunity, and this is the fallout that I was referring to from there. So your fatal 4-way for the tag titles idea: Chelsea and Alba, or Chelsea and Piper, Charlotte and Alexa, Rhea and Io, and then throw in one other tag team that they love to just make on a whim. I wouldn't be shocked if it was BFAB and Michin again, even though they're now on doing their own thing after like a month and a half of being a team. So Alexa gets the win there over Chelsea, and that we don't know. Charlotte did come back out, but we don't know what the status of her knee, since that's what she was grabbing whenever she was taken back and then came out limping. Don't know if that was for show to kind of push and push them up, or I was confused on this one.
Yeah, it's one of those. Last week they had Charlotte by herself. This week they had Alexa Bliss by herself. But Alexa didn't come out last week to help Charlotte. Charlotte came out to help Alexa Bliss, right? So very interesting move there, that maybe one of them is more of a friend than the other, right? It's you got to look at the detail work, right? In WWE, they focus on long-term storytelling. They're not here to tell a story as it comes up week to week. They're here for 3 months, 6 months, 10 months, a year from now, right? And we know Charlotte and Alexa aren't going to be forever, right? No tag team is ever really forever, with the exception of the New Day, but even then, they've had their solo runs while they've been tag teams. So there's always an exception, but for the most part, we know Charlotte and Alexa aren't going to be forever. And I just think it's maybe something to note. I don't think it's going to be a big deal in the immediate future, but something to note. Alexa didn't come out last week to help Charlotte. Charlotte came out to help Alexa this week. Sorry. And so just something to keep in mind. We talked also a little bit about this last week about Piper Niven. I'm ready for Piper Niven to leave. Solo Piper Niven, ready for her to go on her own run, her own single. It's time for her to be in the singles picture, and it's time for Chelsea Green to take on Alba Fire, right? And then of course, we get in the breakup, right? Because they've been together for what, 2 years now.
Feels like a lot longer than that.
Right. Feels like 10. And but we'd get an absolute awesome feud between Chelsea Green and Piper Niven in that. And then you get Alba Fire helping Chelsea as well. But it's a great way to break them up, send Piper on her own into the singles action. I am excited. She's super, super talented. She's won titles and championships all across the globe, especially mostly in Europe. But I mean, I think she's ready. I think she's ready to be on her own. And, she can't be part of the Secret Service forever.
Yeah.
Eventually, she's got to run and become president. So I see that ending. I see some notes of the future of Charlotte and Alexa ending maybe in about 6 months or so. But definitely a lot of people that can, come up as tag teams, and we'll see who ends up in a fatal four-way if it happens.
Yeah, the Piper Niven eventually, the Secret her got a run for that was perfect. And yes, taking Alba Fire under her wing, and also then bringing up Ethan Page, and because there are talks that Ethan Page could be brought up to the main roster here very, very soon. Chelsea Green has gone down to NXT and has gone back and forth really to NXT. It has been working with Ethan Page and has been doing really, really great stuff. So looking to see Ethan Page come up to the main roster, probably once he drops the title. Got to think that's probably when it's going to happen. Although they do love to carry titles to and from and back and forth. Great and absolutely a great point with Josh noted. And then Martina, they changed Alexa's music and made it darker, more dramatic, incoming heel turn. And like you said, that can play in with Charlotte coming out to save Alexa or help Alexa afterwards, and Alexa not showing up last week for Charlotte. So could play into that and really pushing Charlotte into the baby face and staying face and giving her something different where she's a face, she's cheered, and then Alexa, great as a heel, great as either way. These two, it's very interesting. And yes, the tag titles the women's tag titles are cursed. There's definitely been a lot of evidence pointing in that direction, but I think right now that we got a steady tag team, and the tag team division can morph into something that's even better than what it is right now. And then given any, hopefully no injuries, take that and switch it up. But yeah, Piper Niven as a singles run, I see what you mean. Maybe that's what they're finally doing, and I mean, definitely keeping us on our toes to tune back in and watch next week.
I do want to make a note. I am A-okay with Alexa Bliss having a heel turn. Do not put her in the Wyatt 6. Do not have her turn heel and stick her with the Wyatt 6 to help the Wyatt 6. She is great on her own. She's made some good tributes weekly to Bray Wyatt. They were super close. I get it. Keep her out of the Wyatt 6. A heel Alexa Bliss by herself, perfectly fine. Do not try to revive the Wyatt 6 by bringing down Alexa Bliss. That's all I have to say on that. Continue on.
Yeah, that's pretty much sums it up. You know that they will. They will. And if they do it right, it'll be great. If they just do it and then don't have any real plans, if they do it for the big pop and the cheap reaction, and then don't have any plans for afterwards, I'm gonna hate it. just because they really should be doing everything they can to do everything right for Bray Wyatt and his legacy and the Wyatt Six. And yeah, they have the tag titles right now, but um, who says that they don't lose them on Sunday against the Street Profits, and then flip? The titles continue to flip flop back and forth. Um, you know, I mean, then again, Jey Uso did say that he's ready to reunite with Jimmy, and maybe we see it one more Usos run. But later in the show, and just a couple matches here, I think I see a path better fitted for Big Jim here. They don't even have the Wyatts defend their title. It's so funny you say that because Mariah just said the same thing sitting 20 feet away from me. They are defending the titles Sunday, tomorrow at Clash in Paris. So that was announced way after the show. I just saw that on at WWE.com this morning or from the Twitter. But yes, yeah, I think I see where they're going with Sami taking the title off of Solo. And spoiler alert, Sami Zayn did win the United States Championship in France against Solo Sikoa.
Great.
And before we got there, Michin defeated Kiana James in her main roster debut. And Michin, maybe, in the words of Michael Cole, if Michin can get past Kiana James, she may earn herself a United States Championship match, which we know that it might happen eventually down the road, a month and a half later. And then probably we still won't see Julia defend that title. She's had it now for quite some time and just has not defended it. So once again, go from talking about the Wyatt Six not defending their titles, except once every 3 or 4 weeks, once every month, to Julia, who hasn't defended it at all since she beat Zelina Vega for that title. Wasted debut with a roll-up loss, and Michin again probably will eventually get the title shot, but not right off the bat.
I've got one word for Michin and this whole feud with Julia, and I mean, next. Let's go on to the next match. I'm glad they ended that quickly. Wasn't super excited for it. I mean, at this point, Michin's just a filler. She's not even like super big on. She's not even in a mid card picture. Let's just move on. I have nothing much to say. That should tell all of our viewers exactly how wonderfully hot this feud has been. Next. Not even mid at best.
It's just insane. It just is insane. Yeah, I mean they dropped the ball with Julia. They are pushing Stephanie Vaquer to the moon and dropped the ball with Julia. Kiana James came up with Tiffany Stratton, came up with Carmelo Hayes about 2 years ago, and she got hurt and then came back and now is getting. I mean, it was literally ring the bell, ding, ding, ding. You took a breath, and then it was roll up a 1, 2, 3. A total waste. Right. And then for Michin to just get beat up and then no one else to come out, BFAB, no nothing. It's insane. And I know Michin was being pushed whenever they were crowning the first United States champion, but I don't get it. I don't get the hype for her. And right now, Kiana James got squashed, and Julia doesn't defend the title. So the women's mid card on SmackDown over there is looking pretty bleak. Not bleak like the RKOs that Randy Orton laid out to everyone, as his shirt says RKO everybody. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. Don't know when we're going to get this match again. Feels like every other week, every other feud, they go back to this one. While Cody is away, Drew taking him out of action for, I believe this is the third week now. We now know that he was out because they had another baby. So Drew definitely exposed Cody's agenda and, doing the Drew things of playing the victim, but making it seem like everyone else is in the wrong, and explaining that to Randy and telling him that Cody was just using the information whenever he would check in on him after he was recovering in a surgery to eventually use it against him, that Cody doesn't have any friends, he's a liar, blah, blah, blah. And the tension built, but then the chaos just went away, and they're not going to add this one uh, to Clash in Paris, but they're using it to still build to Drew and Cody at WrestlePalooza. So what's Randy gonna do while Drew gets his title shot?
Well, one thing we got to remember, right, is this is Nick Aldis' show. The man regularly does not have a main event plan until the beginning of the show. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Aldis puts this match together at Clash in Paris. Who's to say Randy Orton doesn't come out, call out Drew, and then Nick Aldis is like, you know what? Let's do it. The man doesn't know how to plan a show. He regularly doesn't have a main event. We talked about how annoying it is last week. Okay. Yep. I'm not ruling this match out until the end of Clash at Paris.
They're sitting down there somewhere going, write that down, write that down, write that down.
Right. Again, WWE, if you need me, I promise I can make a main event before the night of the show. I can figure it out. Come get me.
They did have, to be fair, they did have a main event set last night. That was the U.S. title match in Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa.
That's great. It only took them 3 weeks to be able to do their bare minimum job, right? We don't celebrate the bare minimum here. Okay, we go above and beyond at Saturday SmackTalk, especially for big events.
They need to pay all of us because that's exactly what they will do. Oh yeah, 1,000%. Just like they waited till the 9th hour to add the tag title match. That now we are getting 6 matches on a PLE. That isn't a 2-nighter. So this is the last PLE on Peacock. So wouldn't put anything past them for this one. And adding another match. Send out the Peacock era with a bang. Saturday night's main event will now be on Peacock, so we'll still have that PLE feel. But and then NXT PLEs will still be on Peacock until April of next year when they move to ESPN as well. I don't get why they do last minute stuff because it makes it seem rushed, like an afterthought. Everything seems rushed. Everything seems like an afterthought. And then when they go and do that, it's like, oh, I didn't know that they were doing that. And it's then it really sends like the people that are like, oh, I didn't even know there was a PLE today. It sends them into whoa, hey, I guess I better watch this. And then they tune in and they're like, when did these two start chirping and start, building this feud? They didn't. Plot twist.
Here's what I think. I think Nick Aldis forgets that he's the general manager of SmackDown Monday through Thursday, and then Friday morning he wakes up and remembers, oh, I've got to run SmackDown today. Oh, let me make every match except for a main event. I mean, Nick Aldis, just either do the bare minimum of your job or give it all back up to Adam Pearce, who clearly is more organized and can figure this out and has been figuring out. Ran both programs for the longest time. Like, let's do something before the show starts.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, they do their little announcement videos and they run through the breakdown, but they really do more times than not. We are getting into the show and then like an hour in. And breaking, this is our main event for the night. Thanks, Michael Cole. We did not see this one coming. And right. Adam Pearce he gets a lot of hate for being late to come out whenever and bring security out or send a ref out or whatever he does. But Nick Aldis, what does he even do? the SmackDown from top to bottom, leadership to talent is levels below what Raw is with Adam Pearce at the helm of the flagship show.
Now, to go back to Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, I did get a little bit off topic just because Nick Aldis upsets me every single week, right? Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, great promos. Great promos. You've got Randy Orton, who's just an absolute legend. Ironic because he's a legend killer. Drew McIntyre, who's the greatest gaslighter of all time and narcissist. Okay. Like, I know better, and this man still gaslights me. And I know better. I know that's what he's doing. I say it in my head as he's doing it. And then I still believe him sometimes. I mean, they're two powerhouses. It would be an absolute great match. Their promos are always some of the best promos there are in wrestling today. I mean, I can't wait for this match to happen. Like I said, I don't expect it until Clash of Paris is over. I'm still going to think that it could happen because Nick Aldis can't do his job, and I hope he forgets to do his job and makes it happen last minute. So it really is WrestleMania main event level. But I don't think they're not going to drag this feud all the way to WrestleMania. I think they needed to add it to Clash in Paris last minute in typical SmackDown fashion.
They could add it last minute. They could also swerve us completely and do a triple threat at WrestlePalooza, Cody, Randy, and Drew, and then find a fourth to throw in there and make it a fatal four-way. Since Raw is doing a fatal four-way this month, they'll probably do a triple threat or a fatal four-way next month for WrestlePalooza. But yes, I mean, like you said about Drew gaslighting, for sure, definitely is one of the best gaslighters, and the more and more he actually goes in on Cody, and someone that's that is worth it to go in on. It absolutely is showing that that is what he's doing. And yeah, remember when they did what they did with Bayley is a great point, great point. And hopefully that stems from what she's doing right now with the back and forth of the good Bayley and the ding dong hello. And I mean, we get something magical with her, and she does get a WrestleMania moment, which I know that's a while away now, but not really because we're almost in September. So, yeah, Randy and Drew could happen anywhere, but I just don't know why they shoehorn Randy into this feud when Drew told us 2 weeks ago or last week that it's inevitable that Cody will have to face him for the title whenever he chooses to come back. You know, because we want a champion that actually shows up to work. It's fine to say when Roman has the title, but when Cody has it, oh no, it's okay. Let him go do his thing. He's got movies to film. He's got babies to have. He's got podcasts to do that nobody watches. He's got to go and let everyone know that his dad is Dusty Rhodes, and that he's got to show off his tattoo and gas up that tour bus with Pharaoh on the side. It's ridiculous with where SmackDown was with Roman at the helm and holding the title to where it's at now with Cody Rhodes holding the title once again.
Well, and I think a big part of that is they didn't they finished the feud with Cena and Cody Rhodes, but they didn't really open it up to any future storylines with Cody. So I think the big part is because Cody Rhodes loves a John Cena schedule, right? He's said it, he's done it. Other wrestlers have said he's done it, and he's one of the hardest working guys in the locker room, in the company. But I just don't know where they haven't led us to believe what the next storyline is for Cody. Cody won, he left, and then they immediately went to Brock and John Cena.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if we get a Brock return again this week, tomorrow at Clash of Paris. Maybe Logan Paul gets a win over John Cena. Why? Because of Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar.
I see I see where the train is going. I don't think Brock is coming out to help anybody. From what I've been seeing, it's going to be very much he's going to be booked in the classic dominant beast incarnate and just showing up, wrecking everyone and leaving, getting paid and leaving. Roman should have added that to that T-shirt as well. Show up, wreck everyone, get paid, and leave. Brock is advertised for the September 12th and September 19th episodes of SmackDown. So don't know if that's when we can expect him. And then, of course, we're heading that way with WrestlePalooza. If he would show up in Paris, that would be pretty cool. You know, Logan wins and gets out of there, and then Cena is taking in the moment again, rinse, wash, and repeat. Cena's taking in the moment of his first time in France, and for final PLE on Peacock. This is the final scene on Peacock, and they're going to play it back 80 times on Raw and then on SmackDown the following weeks to come. And then Brock's music hits again, which we know that is the classic Beast Incarnate to wait for them to be in the ring and take the moment, and then his music to hit. So a Brock appearance at Clash tomorrow would be great to help and send this feud into overdrive as we gear towards WrestlePalooza, which is September 20th. The first PLE on ESPN for WWE, which the more and more I think about that and can't wait to see WWE stuff on ESPN. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, Brock Lesnar showing up would be phenomenal. People swore Roman was a bad part-time champ, but he had the bloodline holding it down and keeping things entertaining. Cody doesn't have that. He's just holding the title with no feuds, he said on a podcast somewhere, an interview somewhere, the story's never really finished. I think it was in the rest of Unreal. He said the story is never really finished, but he's sure is taking a long time to write this next chapter, taking his good old time to be off and film movies and again film movies and have babies and not defend his title, not show up to work, and just leave it off to everyone else on SmackDown, which is doing the same exact stuff that he basically said to Roman leading up to 39 and to 40. Go into the Street Profits defeating Melo Dome Miz. This was deemed a number one contenders match. Profits win, and they will have that tag match tomorrow night at Clash in Paris. Interesting thing, Bo Dallas was seen throughout the show just as Bo Dallas, not as Uncle Howdy. But the Wyatt Six will take on the Street Profits tomorrow at Clash in Paris. And then that rolls us into the main event where Sammy does defeat Solo Sikoa and win the United States Championship. And he now needs a world title to become a Grand Slam champion. But he is not out of the underdog house. He's still being looked at as the underdog, treated as the underdog, talked about as the underdog, and I'm sick of it. He's better at chasing a title than holding a title. And if this title reign for Sami Zayn doesn't end with Big Jim taking the title from Sami Zayn, then what are we even doing?
Yeah, I'm glad to see. There's one thing I was glad to see, and it was a championship title belt changed hands on a regular show. Thank you. Finally, Nick Aldis did something right. Okay? We haven't had a title change hands on a regular Monday night or Friday night in how long? Exactly. No one even knows.
Rhea and Io after King and Queen of the Ring. back in that was 3 or 4 months ago.
A while ago, right? And then the time before that, probably at least 3 to 4 months before that.
Yeah.
So thank you. We finally got a regular title change on a regular show. I love it. It's great. Fans can still go to a regular SmackDown or Monday Night Raw and have a chance of seeing a title match that doesn't get squashed or end in a DQ. I like it. I'm over the underdog storyline for Sami Zayn as well. But I'm glad he got the title because let's be honest, they weren't going to do anything with Solo anyway. Right? Solo has the bloodline. It's been mediocre, even with the massive size and skill of everyone that he has. It's mediocre. Solo's kind of like it's not even Timu bloodline anymore. They're just there kind of deal. So I'm glad they took the title off Solo. There really isn't a storyline that can take him. Sami Zayn, they can take him a lot of different places. I would love for them to take them into the realm of being a heel. Make him a bad guy. Make him a bad guy. I'm sick and tired of the underdog, babyface, Sami Zayn that fights to win everything that he has. It's been 2 years at least, and he's been a babyface, and I'm just so over it. Sami Zayn, be a bad guy. Do something different. Make this title respectable again. I don't think it'll happen, but one can hope and dream, right?
Yeah, when Nick Aldis is in charge of the show, your dreams are going to be put on hold for him to show up. Whenever they show up and plan half the show, and then the other half just throwing darts at a dartboard with your eyes closed. I mean,
right.
Why change titles on a regular show before PLE? Just put it on the PLE. Well, that would make too much sense. And they did that with Zelina and Julia. They did. It doesn't make any sense to me with Sammy being pushed like this. Wasn't he just earlier this month telling the world and telling Karrion Kross that he belonged in the world title picture and he needed to win a world title? And he basically sent Karrion Kross off into free agency and back into the indies to then launch himself into the world title picture, but then all of a sudden fall back into the mid card. That tells you something. Tells you everything that you need to know. And yeah, Sami Zayn is the world, like Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. These are the underdogs that get a title and then just drop the ball because their whole thing is being built up and backed by the fans because they want to see them win the title. And then when they win the title, it's like, oh, look at that, they're mid, and we don't want what we thought we wanted. And then it's like, okay, well, this is what you get. So there.
Yeah, I'm over it. It's one step away from my comment about the whole Michin thing. Next.
The next thing after SmackDown, I mean, like we said in the beginning, SmackDown and Raw. The tail end of this build to Clash and the final PLE, they haven't even been pushing that. I feel like that might have helped talk about, give it that feel of the final PLE on Peacock and this and that and whatever. But the lackluster, it's lacking direction and star power. SmackDown needs that feel of Roman 13-16 back, and that's the bottom line because Roman Reigns said so. We go into Clash in Paris, a preview, and we have 2 singles matches. We have John Cena versus Logan Paul. It is PLE debut in France, Cena's debut match in France, I believe, or at least Paris. Roman Reigns and Bronson Reed. And then the World Heavyweight title, Fatal 4-Way, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk. We have a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, Sheamus and Rusev. It's Sheamus' first singles PLE match since 2022. Rusev, I know he just came back, so it's his first PLE pay-per-view match in WWE since who knows when. And then Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Final women's PLE match on Peacock since Stephanie Vaquer was scrapped. She still remains the number one contender. And then, of course, the tag titles on Peacock at Clash in Paris. So a very up and down, left and right, midder card here for Clash in Paris. But quick predictions. I'm going to go Logan Paul, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Sheamus, Becky, and the Wyatts.
Yeah, so let's see. I'm getting this pulled up real quick. The card for Clash at Paris. I think we're going to be pretty much on the same page. Cena's going to beat Logan Paul. It's going to be a great match. Don't get me wrong. It'll be a great match, but John Cena over Logan Paul. Roman Reigns gets his shoes back, beats his bully. He's trying to take a third pair of shoes. We'll consider this essentially a third match, right? Roman Reigns gets his shoes back, beats the tribal thief, the owner of the Shulafala, gets his shoes off the telephone wire.
Yeah.
Heavyweight title, Seth Rollins. He's got the numbers. He's got Bronson Reed. He's got Braun Breaker. And Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk are all not cohesive and working together like they should to beat Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins retains. Good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I don't even care who wins. Next. I think Sheamus finally gets the win over Rusev. Intercontinental title match. I think this could go either way. We've got Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. I want Becky Lynch to retain, but I think they're going to swerve us, and Bella's going to get her Intercontinental title to add to her slew of other titles. I think they're going to do it. I think that's what they're bringing these people back for. Nikki Bella over Becky Lynch. Yeah, so not a whole lot on that card. You know, it's I think it's going to be very mid. If they bring in Drew and Randy, which very well could be knowing Nick Aldis, I think Randy Orton gets the win over the prick Drew McIntyre.
I think, yeah. I mean, if they add that seventh match, because we do have the tag titles on the card there, I would want to see Drew win, if anything, just because it's inevitable that he's going to be Cody's first opponent since winning the title at SummerSlam earlier this month. Mid card. Yes, it very much is, but there are some exciting things. It's Paris, it's France, Roman Reigns, the Roman Reigns, that whole thing. I mean, it is what it is at this point. Hopefully WrestlePalooza will be better. Pat McAfee will be back at WrestlePalooza as we talked about last week, and that is a very, very underwhelming build and very underwhelming predictions. Not too much to go into because it is so very, very mid. Some major big announcements or talking points to lead us into the football portion of the show on this Saturday afternoon before we have kickoff here in about roughly 30 minutes. Saw over on College Game Day, the panel there, Pat and everyone else, they had Lee Corso headgear for his final pick today. And it's really cool to see that, and that's been all over Twitter and my timeline there and everything. But UFC and WWE TKO is taking over Salt Lake City. They announced that they are bringing Saturday night's main event and SmackDown to Salt Lake City on October 31st episode of SmackDown, and then Saturday night's main event in November on November 1. They have reached a partnership with the Utah Sports Commission and SEG that will go through 2026, bringing both UFC and WWE back to Utah. And in previous years, we have had UFC 278, 291, and 307 in 2022, 23, and 24 that has impacted the Utah an economic impact for the city of Salt Lake and Utah $74.1 million brought into the city there. Halloween weekend, of course, like I said, SmackDown October 31st. Saturday night's main event, November 1st on Peacock. Combo tickets for that go on sale September 5th via SeatGeek. Pre-sale on September 3rd. UFC will be back in 2026 there at the Delta Center. UFC does own the top 3 biggest gates in that arena's history. I'm guessing 4 or 5 would have been when The Rock came back to SmackDown that was there. And Salt Lake is becoming a certified fight town with WWE and TKO. So your thoughts on running back to Salt Lake City and Saturday night's main event, along with a special Halloween edition of Friday Night SmackDown?
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties. So, as far as Halloween weekend, I mean, Saturday night's main events, I'm not super excited for it. I'm really not super excited for a whole lot right now with WWE. We're kind of, at this point, it is what it is. There's a couple of big storylines. I think they're just trying to get through to Survivor Series is what I think they're just trying to do right now. So, and they're trying to compete with, well, not trying to compete. They're trying to make it hard for AEW to compete with them right now, as far as the overall feel I'm getting from WWE. So, it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Like Martina said, they've got so many PLEs coming up. It's hard to really build anything. And yes, they do need Pat. They do need Pat back. Unfortunately, we won't be getting him because of College Game Day. Obviously, that's his gig. Where the WWE is a side chick, if you will, right? So So more concerned with counter programming than actually giving us good programming. 100%. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully they can give us some good stuff. We'll see with ESPN coming into play, and fingers crossed. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, it is hit or miss. It's up and down. It's left and right. I think they do some good things and then they take 3 steps backwards. The ESPN partnership hopefully will push them in the right direction going into Survivor Series, which I guess would be the next big time PLE in November, Thanksgiving weekend in San Diego at the Padres Stadium. And hopefully, along with that excitement going into there, we are getting the speed titles to NXT. So I guess the partnership with Twitter has ended. And just like we were saying last week or the week before that, they need to do something with the cruiserweight division, and I don't know what they'll give the name to for the women's speed title. The lightweight division, I don't know if that's what they'll do, but those championships are moving to NXT. and we know, or at least the women's is, and we are getting a tournament to crown the number one contender for Sol. I think Sol Ruka is still the speed champion. Will that elevate those titles and the concept of a cruiserweight division, or will it just kind of, we're gonna do this and then let it die out, and Sol Ruka is just gonna carry around two titles just for the fun of it? So I mean, we kind of called that bringing back the cruiserweight title. So someone must be watching and writing something down.
Someone's listening to us. I think they do bring back the cruiserweight division, and I am so excited for it. I loved it growing up watching it. It was full of high flying action and just all around stars. I mean, we had Rey Mysterio back then too, in the cruiserweight division. We're going to kick it back a little old school. We had Billy Kidman. We had Rey Mysterio. We had La Parka, Juventud Guerrera. I mean, we had all those guys, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero. I mean, the cruiserweight division brought in so much talent, and every match was absolutely, as Sheamus would say, banger after banger after banger, right? And I'm excited. I definitely think this is going to elevate the brand. I don't know why they didn't just bring it into NXT in the first place. They could have already built that brand, improved that brand, and also improved that whole division. Because I don't know the numbers, but I know I definitely wasn't interested in watching just the speed tournaments when they happen. Like, just make it a cruiserweight division. That's essentially what it was. It was a cruiserweight division called the Speed Tournament, the Speed Championship. No, bro, it's the cruiserweight division. Quit trying to name it.
They did have the big guys like Braun Breaker's not a cruiserweight. He was in it. He was moving fast, and they were still doing too much with trying to be different and trying to not be. They were trying to do and be pro wrestling instead of just being a sport. And it was a good idea before. I'm sure Elon threw a lot of money at them for those titles. And that was just one of his many side quests at this point whenever he first bought Twitter. Speed title, the 24/7 title was another one that was just it was just horrible. And I hope that's what they do. I really do, and we can get some normalcy. And yes, this is essentially what they were, but the concept was new. It was interesting, but they did it on Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 o'clock at noon. On Wednesdays and Fridays live on Twitter. Who is sitting around and has time to open up their phone and go to Twitter from 12 o'clock to like 1:30 on a Wednesday and on a Friday? That concept, that part of the concept, that must have been Nick Aldis must have had that idea.
I would say Nick Aldis had that idea, but it was actually planned ahead. So I'm going to say Adam Pearce probably came up with that idea. It wasn't done at, it starts at 12. So that means Nick Aldis would have had to do it at 11:45. And there'd be no promotional information for it prior to. So clearly an Adam Pearce thing, but bad timing. People work, man. People are working or they're on their lunch break at 12 to 1:30, and really lunch breaks aren't even that long. So I'm not wasting it on the Speed Championship. Just bring a cruiserweight division into WWE and be done with it.
Exactly.
We have plenty of talent. They're loaded up. They're stacked. Just do it already. Let's make it happen. Add a title. You just added 2 women's titles. Why not add a cruiserweight division?
And this point right here, the Speed Champs never carried them on TV. They didn't barely even mention them. But then they can bring in the AAA titles and this and that and talk about that and push AAA. Nothing says this title is unimportant than not letting the champ carry it on TV. Yeah, Candice LeRae wasn't able to to carry it. She was champ for a while. I think El Grande Americano is still the speed champ for on the men's side. So with Chad Gable's El Grande Americano, but we know that he's hurt. So I don't know if Ludwig Kaiser takes it via osmosis. I don't know if he automatically gets it. But I don't know if they're bringing the men's speed title to NXT as well. Who they probably don't even know as well.
Hold that thought. What do you mean, Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser's El Grande Americano? They are clearly not El Grande Americano. We have seen Chad Gable and El Grande Americano in the same room. I mean, El Grande Americano is clearly the greatest luchador there is, as he's proven time and time again. And he's my pick to win the Cruiserweight division. Whenever they bring that officially into WWE, El Grande Americano, Dom says he's the king of luchadors. Let's be honest. The history shows El Grande Americano is the king of luchadors.
I too was on that train of thought, and I believed it. But after seeing Michael Cole do the type of journalism that he does and point out all the evidence and the facts, and the fact of the matter is that if El Grande Americano grew 2 feet and shrunk down in the span of post WrestleMania to right now, and got his tattoo that was on his back removed. Believe Michael Cole also mentioned something about the nipple size from before and now, and also just playing out that Chad Gable was at a Minnesota Twins game and was in a sling and mentioned that he had his first singles match on WrestleMania, basically confirming that he is or was El Grande Americano. And now, we haven't seen Ludwig Kaiser in a while, but this El Grande Americano sure does walk like Ludwig Kaiser. So a little bit of journalism done on Michael Cole's part kind of made me see the light. And no, Dom Mysterio is the best Mysterio of all time, the greatest Mysterio of all time, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, and the greatest luchador of all time.
Well, we'll see what El Grande Americano has to say about that if they bring the Cruiserweight division in. So I hope they do. I'm excited for it. Like I said, they've got plenty of talent for it, and let's hope they do this the right way.
Yeah. I'm excited if they do go down that road, just like I am very excited that Seth Rollins will be a guest host on Good Morning Football this year. He's been on and off of the Rich Eisen show. And now with this ESPN partnership coming up, he will be on Good Morning Football. So that'll be really cool to see WWE kind of step into the spotlight of not only their programming just being on ESPN, being on SportsCenter, but now mixing in the talent on the other shows that we know and love for ESPN there. Another, NFL crossover for the WWE, ESPN. It's going to be, I think that's going to be fantastic. And just like kicking off in about 20 minutes, number 1 versus number 3, Texas versus Ohio State in Columbus. And Dave Portnoy was seemingly banned from Columbus and from the shoe, but I don't know if that's just for the Michigan-Ohio State game. Because I saw clips of him coming out on Big Noon Kickoff to the Michigan fight song, and he's there in Columbus. I don't know if that was a work. But Fox and Big Noon Kickoff bring in Dave Portnoy with the partnership with Barstool. They're also doing a Good Morning Barstool show starting, I think it said Monday or Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. So it's pretty cool to see. We saw Pat McAfee and the Pat McAfee show come to ESPN, and now we're seeing the same thing with Barstool and Big Noon Kickoff and Fox and everything. And the Fox One app is set for some heavy favoritism to college football. That will be a bundle option with ESPN later this year in October. But your thoughts on Texas versus Ohio State, and then we can get into the meat and potatoes of this show this week, since we are celebrating, of course, the holiday of college football kickoff.
All right. So first of all, happy college football kickoff day for all of you college football fans out there. Obviously, I felt the need to dress appropriately for what should be a national holiday, and it's the start of one of the greatest football schedules and seasons to ever be, right? And they are kicking it off extremely big. We've got Texas going to the shoe to Ohio State in a rematch of last year's semifinals before national title game. Texas was in that game all the way to the end. Couple of mistakes. Ohio State took over or took advantage of those, and they won the game. They went and they won a national title. Texas on the road is better on the road than 99% of college football teams out there. They went to the year before, 2 years ago, they went to Bama. They beat Nick Saban's Alabama, not Kalen DeBoer's, Nick Saban's Alabama in Tuscaloosa, pushed them around, bullied them around, right? Where's Bronson Reed? We need the tribal thief, the bully taking the shoes. Bullied Alabama in Tuscaloosa, won by 10, I believe 34-24. Last year they went into Michigan, defending national champions, bullied them, won in Michigan. I like Texas. Texas has arguably the best defense in college football today. They've got a redshirt freshman, Julian Sayin, starting for Ohio State. Hasn't played a single game. This is his first official start versus that Texas defense that has a bunch of returning starters. Michael Taft in the secondary, a senior that returned to make one more run with Texas. And then, of course, you've got Arch, who has experience, not just in the regular season, but also in the college football playoffs. He's seen action. He's played in the big games, and he's done well. He came in for Quinn Ewers last year when he was hurt, won some games, threw some major touchdowns, showed off his speed. I think it's going to be a great game. Welcome to college football. We are back, baby. Best season of the year.
Best time of the year for sure. Yes. I mean, it seems like it's going to come down to two teams that are it's national championship or bust, and that is Texas and that is Penn State. I was doing a little bit of research and looking into what Penn State has right now, and they filled the holes at wide receiver for Drew Aller. Third year starter Drew Aller, third year starter for 5-star quarterback Drew Aller. And we got very, very close, and this could be the most anticipated season for Penn State in a very, very, very long time. And I want to go back before I deep dive into Penn State, go back to the NFL a little bit. Martino, what is Seth's connection to football? He's just a big Bears fan, and the Bears suck. So he's from Iowa. Iowa doesn't have much, so he's a Bears fan, and he just loves. He's just a big football fan, and is very vocal about it, and just gets the opportunity to do the Rich Eisen show and knows football. He did play in high school, I believe, and then just chose to. He played a lot of sports and just then always just wanted to be a wrestler. So he just did the indies as well. To your second comment, as opposed to Roman, Braun Breaker, the Usos, who actually played football. I believe Rollins did play football as well, just at up until the high school level. But that is kind of his connection with football, and why he's going to be on Good Morning Football and No. You're looking for We Are.
Okay.
That's what you're looking for. I mean, I'm hooking the horns today because Ohio State, blech, we don't like them. But yes, it is the most wonderful time of the year. And yes, Penn State. Um, Penn State, I'm very excited, and my sources have confirmed that they are rowdy in State College right now. They started at 8 a.m. and blasting Metallica. They started at 8 a.m. getting ready. The tailgates started at 9 a.m. and Beaver Stadium is ready to go. They're ready to rock. They've added seats. The energy is going to be there, and I'm very, very excited for Penn State. I know they kick off at 3:30 today against Nevada, and their schedule is lining up to be good. And they filled the holes at wide receiver. They have great both sides of the ball coordinators, and Drew Aller is going to do Drew Aller things, and I have very high hopes for Penn State this year. And what better way to end that than Texas and Penn State in the national championship, with Penn State taking it home, bringing it on home to Happy Valley.
Oh, man. I guess it's a good thing this is called Saturday Smack Talk, because I'm about to lay down some Smack Talk, okay?
Okay, Rocky.
Roll Tide. Alabama's going to have a few losses this year, okay? I think
to be fair, she doesn't know what she's saying. We haven't gotten to the college football chapter of Football 101. We've been hitting on NFL, but I'll get there. And yeah, I'm being serious. I've actually made her a notebook of basically breaking down everything she needs to know on the NFL. So we haven't gotten to college football. So the Roll Tide, I think that's just what she hears. I did explain the "We Are Penn State" chant to her. So yeah, we haven't gotten to that part, but continue with laying down the smack talk.
Yeah. So Alabama is Roll Tide. The Tide will be getting rolled a couple of times this year. I do think they'll make the top 12. But ultimately, the team to watch this year is Texas. And while I love the preseason AP poll spot of number 1, along with that comes a ton of pressure, especially with Ohio State defending national champs who have Caleb Downs at safety, one of the best defensive players in the nation. They've got Jeremiah Smith at wide receiver, looking to make a big comeback this year after last year's game against Texas, where he had 1 catch for 3 yards the entire game. He had as many receptions as he had tackles in that game. So Jeremiah Smith looking for revenge. They have a new quarterback. Caleb Downs, arguably the best defensive player in the nation. This is going to be I would love to say Texas by 14. That has been my hot take that I've given people, friends and family and other, sports people that I've talked to. Texas by 14, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a slugfest, if it's closer, if it's a 3-point game or a 1-touchdown game. 2 great offenses, 2 great defenses. I think Texas has the advantage. And the defensive side of the ball being their overall ability to stop teams. Really, I just feel like they've reloaded. We got Ryan Wingo out at receiver, who's an absolute monster. And then, of course, you've got in the backfield, you've got CJ Baxter, right? And then you've got Wisner as well. 2 running backs can hit home runs at any point in time from anywhere on the field, any given hole. Absolute studs at running back, studs at receiver. It just seems like Sark just keeps reloading. He doesn't rebuild, he reloads. And I think it's going to be a great game. I think Texas overall wins. I think Lee Corso also picked Texas to win today for his last pick. Vegas does have Texas as the underdogs. Not by much, by I think 1.5. But to me, that's essentially home field advantage is what they're betting on. At that point, it's essentially saying that they're even teams. and they're giving the pick to whoever has home field advantage, because Ohio State is a rough place to play, but we know Sark is good on the road when and that's with Quinn Ewers, and Arch Manning, I believe, is a better quarterback. So I give Texas the nod in this one. And even if they lose, the good part about playing them in week 1 is there's plenty of time to recover from a week 1 loss against a good Ohio State team, a good the defending national champions from last year. You have time to recover. You come back, you beat Georgia, you win the SEC championship, you're automatically in. Of course, they're doing the reseeding, I believe, either this year or next year. So if you're going to lose, it's better to lose in week 1 or week 2 versus at the end of the season when they're trying to make their picks for the top 12 teams to go into the playoffs. So great slate of games. Let's be honest here. Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, FSU, Tennessee versus Syracuse. We'll see what Tennessee has. Rebuilding. They lost Nico. I don't even know who their quarterback is now. So, and just bad timing on losing Nico as well. So we'll see what happens with that. I think they're going to have a losing season. Sorry to all my Tennessee friends out there watching. I know you guys, it's a hell of a fan base, and you guys love your Vols, but I'm not loving them to have a winning season this year. So, yeah, Penn State, I think they make the top 12. I do think they drop from number 2. I do think they're going to have a couple of losses. I don't see the magic in Penn State to win a national title. I do see Texas in the national title run. They have everything they need to get there, and they're the only team that made the college football playoffs the last 2 years consecutively and made it to the semifinals both years. So proven track record with Sark in Texas going into the playoffs and making it far. Penn State, I think, will make it into the playoffs. I don't know if I see them in the national title, especially if they have to play Georgia again with a quarterback that has been there for a full season and is the known starter. You guys got Georgia after Texas had knocked out Carson Beck and Gunnar Stockton. That was, I believe, his first official start. So he's the starting quarterback this year. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was Notre Dame that played Georgia. Yeah. But, yeah, we'll see. I do see you guys getting in the top 12. I don't know if I see you guys getting to the national title game. Just there's too many stacked teams this year, but you never know. Any given Saturday, right?
Acting like Penn State doesn't have the same exact things that you listed for Texas. I mean, filled the holes at wide receiver, quarterback, 2 All-American running backs, best running back duo out there, and Drew Aller with, again, 3 years starting, 5-star quarterback, and 2 big time games last year in the playoffs. Beat Boise State 31-14, and then lost a very close one to Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, and that was more on James Franklin, as it comes down to. If James Franklin cannot do James Franklin things and Drew Aller can do Drew Aller things, no one's stopping Penn State. I mean, we have 3 easy games to start. Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, 3 games that should be easy to start, as we always do. And I hate that they do that. I hate that they don't go right into it. But then we have, Nevada, FIU, Villanova, and then Oregon at home, UCLA on the road, Northwestern at home, at Iowa, and then start off November to unleash hell in November at Ohio State, at home against Indiana, at Michigan State, at home against Nebraska, and then finish it off against Rutgers on the road. And we also have 1 or 2 of our bye weeks within 2 or 3 game stretch of before Oregon and then before Ohio State. So, I mean, it's going to shake out to and yes, they probably will eventually, probably will lose one, a game that I'm sitting here writing off as, looking at the schedule and saying, okay, should be easy wins. We know what happened a couple years ago against Indiana in Indiana, when they lost in the last seconds, and they do take the games down to the wires. And I wish they wouldn't do that. But I mean, Penn State, it's going to be up to Drew Aller, and it's going to be up to James Franklin to not choke away wins like he has in the past. And yes, I'm proud you at least know of Alabama Roll Tide, showcasing that I have taught you about football. But yes, we have not gotten to college football 101. We've merely just begun NFL 101. But I will put that in the notebook and in your playbook. Just trying to help. Yeah, yes. We are very aware. But yeah, I mean, Penn State is the only one's going to really stop Penn State is Penn State. And that starts with James Franklin, because he angers me. He angers me so much.
He angers me so. Fair enough. I think the thing that's gonna kill you guys is you've got Oregon, who, I mean, Oregon's good, and we know Ohio State is good. Like I said, they've got they got Caleb Downs, they got Jeremiah Smith, and they're defending national champs, and they played good teams to get there. They had to get through Texas on their last game before the national title. And then they dominated Tennessee when they had Nico, right? And they dominated the national title game, So I think, to stay in the top 3 spots, really, you got to go undefeated. And I think those are your toughest games. I do see Ohio State beating Penn State, especially when they play you guys. You're at the shoe. I think Ohio State feels absolutely disrespected by being number 3 after just winning the national title. And they still have 2 of the best players in college football on their team. They've still got the head coach. The big thing is they have different coordinators, but I feel like they're very disrespected, and they're aiming that anger out on you guys. And especially if Texas wins, let's add another chip to their shoulder, and you guys are going to Ohio State. It's gonna be tough, absolutely rough. And we know Oregon's good. Oregon could beat anybody in their schedule. And Ohio State, like I said, they're going to be angry. They were angry with Tennessee because they said they were going to take over the shoe, and look what they did to Tennessee. Absolutely mollywopped them. Made people question why they were even in the college football playoffs. So nothing against Penn State, but Ohio State, Oregon, great teams. If you lose to both of them, that gives you 2 losses. I see you still making the top 12. But if there's undefeated teams or there's 1-loss teams that have better wins or not as bad losses, I could see them moving up to the 1, 2, or 3 spot. If Texas loses this week, I see them dropping. I see Ohio State jumping up to number 1. So, if you guys can get through those 2 games, those are the ones I worry about. I can see you guys up there, but at this point in time, those games for me are up in the air. They're 50-50, could go either way. So,
I mean, to be fair, naming Oregon and Ohio State as, the 2 games you're worrying about Penn State and, potentially losing both of those are the same teams that we lost to last year. So we lost to Oregon in the Big Ten Championship, a 1-score game, and we lost to Ohio State, a 1-score game. Almost 1 year exactly to the day when we play them again. Last year was in Happy Valley, and again, those came down to James Franklin. Drew Aller played his absolute ass off in both games, and it comes down to James Franklin and coaching. And now that we have an offensive and defensive coordinator that are competent, and hopefully, Drew Aller can go out there and do Drew Aller things, and James Franklin can not be a crazy bozo and a cuckoo head, as I have our young ears just mere 20 feet away from me. Mollywop is my favorite word. Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to James Franklin not blowing it, not blowing these things, and hopefully getting. I mean, Penn State is going to be just as angry about the 2 losses last year against Oregon um, and against Ohio State. I mean, Oregon at home late in September. That's a 7:30 kickoff. Ohio State is November 1. Last year they played on November 2 in Penn State. This year it is in Columbus. That time is to be determined. And I think if that, because that was the whiteout, that was a noon whiteout. So that's crazy that they didn't give us a 7:30 kick for the whiteout against Ohio State with what was on the line for that one, and then of course getting into the Big Ten championship and then losing to Oregon, both 1-score games. And when it boils down to that just blatantly is on coaching. So if James Franklin can not do James Franklin things, and Drew Aller can do Drew Aller things, the sky is the ceiling for Penn State. And I'm finally excited for the season. We rolled SMU in the first round. We beat Boise State 31-14 in the second round at the Fiesta Bowl, and then of course lost to Notre Dame in a very, very close one. So I'm okay with being a 4 or 5 or 5 or 6, whatever they ended up being last year, after the 2 losses, of course, to Oregon and Ohio State. But I think one of them ends up being different this year. And for James Franklin's sake, it better be the Ohio State, going into Columbus and finally getting a win over Ohio State, because Ohio State and Michigan is James Franklin's kryptonite, just like Michigan is Ryan Day's kryptonite. So the Big Ten has always been about that, teams rolling in, except whenever they play this team. And that's what makes it so much fun when Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan being at the top 3 of the Big Ten. Now you bring in Oregon and you get rid of the divisions and the whole college football realignment concept and everything like that. But I'm just excited for the season.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Huge slate on our plate this week. With college football games, I'm extremely excited. And yes, mollywop is also one of my favorite words too. So you will hear me say that hopefully for like 12 weeks in a row. When we're talking about the Texas games. So, Texas mollywopping people. But, it's the same thing with us. If we lose to Ohio State, granted it is in week 1, but it still hurts, right? And then we've also got Georgia that we have to play. I believe we play Georgia this year, actually. So, but it's college football. Any given Saturday, right? Anybody can beat anybody. And it also depends on who loses and who wins, where we end up. So, but really, ultimately, Sark said it best. All that matters is that you're in the top 12. If you're in the top 12, you have a shot. And then you've just got to put together a few great games against great teams, and you can make a national title run. So it's not even necessarily being about perfect. If you want those top spots, you need to be perfect. It's going to go to an undefeated team or 1-loss team. 2 losses is risky, depending on where everyone else is at and how many 1-loss teams or undefeated teams there are. Because I'll tell you this: the SEC is ready to come back and take a championship back. It's been almost 1,000 days since the SEC has won a national championship, and the SEC is hungry. So be ready for everyone in that conference to be trying to beat everybody. So either way, national holiday is what this should be. It's going to be a great season. We're about to kick off here shortly. So speaking of Penn State, another Penn State alum just made some big news with his former team, the Dallas Cowboys, right? Micah Parsons traded to Green Bay. Thoughts on that?
Much like any Eagles fan, any Commanders fan, and any Giants fan, I hope Jerry Jones lives to be 175 and stays as GM and owner of the Cowboys because my guy Micah, I don't know why I said Minka. I watched Micah in high school. I watched him return a touchdown on kickoff and run as running back, and then absolutely kill my high school on defense as well. So I've been a Micah fan since high school, and then watching him play at Penn State was just awesome. He got paid, and because they did reach terms on 4 years and 188 million. I think it was 130 fully guaranteed at signing, or 120 or something like that. So he finally got paid, and he finally got out of Dallas and away from Jerry Jones and his senile head. Yeah, I mean, and it writes a very cool story of Steelers Packers for a Super Bowl and Aaron Rodgers getting revenge, or Micah ends up leaving the Cowboys and winning a ring. I mean, it works out for me. And I'm just kidding. That's only for the storyline. That's purely
It's
just
Saturday
the storyline.
SmackTalk. Talk away, my friend.
I know my friend Garrett from back home. He will love to hear that. I haven't seen his reaction to it, but I know Ty Schmidt of the Pat McAfee Show was thrilled and to the moon. But yeah, Micah got paid. I believe he announced that he's going to wear number 1, which is kind of crazy since he's been 11 going back to the Penn State days. So it's going to be pretty cool to see him in the NFC North and go after all the quarterbacks in the NFC North, the Vikings and the Bears and the Lions. It's going to be great to see him playing those kind of games, and I'm excited for him.
All right, so as you know, and for anybody that doesn't know, out in Saturday Smack Talk land, I am a born and raised Texan. I have grown up watching the Cowboys. I did watch Super Bowl 30. So that's why there's some gray in my beard, in case you guys were wondering. I did watch that growing up as it happened. I am not actually upset about the Micah Parsons trade, as most fans are. I'm not upset. I did a little bit of a deeper dive. I looked into it. Why did he trade Micah? That's what we do here, right? On Saturday Smack Talk, talking sports, we make sure we figure out all the angles and we analyze everything. Here's what a Micah Parsons trade does for Dallas. 1, gets us 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 2027. Easy given, right? So now we have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. Great odds at getting another generational player or a couple of generational players. We also get Kenny Clark. What did everybody say was Dallas's problem last year and the year before? We could not stop the run. Okay. Micah Parsons is great rushing the quarterback from the edge as a defensive end, but we've got plenty of defensive ends that can rush the quarterback and have, if you look at their numbers, had great numbers last year, right? So we've paid Dak, we've paid CD, okay, we've got George Pickens. He's going to be a key factor here in just a second, right? And now you've got Micah Parsons, who's great at rushing the passer, who wants to get paid a ton of money. Has he earned it? Absolutely. The guy can change a game in 1 or 2 plays in the regular season. In 2 playoff games, in at least the last 2 playoff games, he had 1 tackle, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, nothing. No show. No show in the playoffs.
Putting up Myles Garrett numbers.
Putting up Myles Garrett numbers, right? No show in the playoffs. Great in the regular season when he's not hurt, right? He's gotten hurt the last 2 to 3 seasons for some short period of time throughout the regular season. When he's healthy, he's absolutely great. Doesn't show up in the playoffs. And he wanted $40 million a year from Dallas, right? He wanted to be the highest paid, but you don't show up in the playoffs. You're hurt for part of the season, the regular season, so we don't even have you for a full 16 games a year, and you want $40 million. Or we could get 2 more first-round picks, a proven defensive tackle in Kenny Clark to stop the run, okay? So that hopefully helps stop the run when we're playing teams that like to run up the middle. It saves us cap money. Dallas now has the second most cap space available in the entire NFL at $42 million in cap space, right? Let's say they don't spend it. That rolls into next year's cap space. So now you've got 2 first-round draft picks. You've got arguably the most cap space available in the NFL next year. You've got Kenny Clark, who's still solid to help stop the run. And guess who's a free agent next year? GP, George Pickens, is a free agent next year. Let's say they have a great season with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, right? Because who do you double cover? That's a tough tandem to cover. Now, if you want to sign George Pickens, you have the money to sign George Pickens, right? Also, you have draft picks. If you want to get a backup for Dak Prescott for when his contract ends, 2027. Look at that. Arch Manning will probably be coming out of college football. So now you have the equity to move up for Arch and have a replacement for Dak Prescott when his contract ends, right? You've got cap space. You can sign George Pickens. You've got 2 draft picks that you can use to either pick up another defensive tackle to improve your team, or you can draft some young guys to improve your defense. So all in all, I think it works out. Micah gets paid. Dallas wanted him to play on the 5th-year option. He would have been getting $20 million. Micah's happy. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, they get more options to improve their team. More cap space, more draft picks, more capital, because let's be honest, we don't need another pass rusher. We need to stop the run. So I think it works out for both. Would I love to see Micah as a lifetime Cowboy? Absolutely. But at this juncture, I think it makes sense for both the team and for Micah to get traded. I don't hate the trade. I think if it's done right, they can use it to improve the team, both offensively and defensively. And they've also got some other big names that'll be coming up for re-signings next year as well, outside of just George Pickens. So I think it works out for both teams. Funny point is, with state income tax, Mike is only going to be taking home $25 million a year. I just want to throw that out. Only $5 million more than he would have been taking home had he played his 5th year this year in Dallas at $20 million, because there's no state income tax. But, you know, he's got an agent. I'm sure his agent told him that, right? Anyways, I like the trade. I think it helps Micah. I think it helps Dallas. Dallas has many more options, and they have a ton of cap space that they're going to have now and next year if they roll it into next year's cap space.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you break it down like that, it does make a lot of sense. It does work out for both sides. And then, like you said, with the income thing, I mean, hey, that apparently Jerry was trying to go around his agent, and that's what, ruffled the feathers there. And then he was going back for a deal, and they said no, play on your 5th-year option or leave, and it chose to go different ways. So I'm excited for Micah, and whenever you lay it out like that, it seems like it could work out. Seems like it could work out for the Cowboys, and end up being good, but it could also go the other way. Like it's just like the Steelers. Like, we could actually win the games that we're supposed to win, and we could roll right into a division championship finally, and we could go into the second round of the playoffs for the first time since 2017, or we could have Mike Tomlin do Mike Tomlin things and lose games that we're not supposed to lose, or lose games we're supposed to win, and then get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. So it could, any given Sunday could change any given thing for any given team. And George Pickens, have fun with him, because whenever it does come to renegotiating and paying him, and the history with Jerry Jones and what we saw with CeeDee Lamb, I don't think George Pickens is going to not crash out before he gets paid or until he gets paid. It's the crash out from George Pickens is just boiling over, waiting to happen. And the Steelers have a history of dumping wide receivers right before, or drama queens in general, right before they crash out. So have fun with him. That's your headache now. And I'm cool with Calvin Austin III. I'm cool with DK Metcalf. I'm cool with Pat Freiermuth. I'm cool with where the Steelers are at right now. I just wish Will Howard wouldn't have broken his pinky and is on the injured reserve list, with no real timetable of Mike Tomlin has told us that he's going to be healthy soon. What does that mean? Let him go out there and play. We take 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. Will Howard, I saw he was there in Columbus today. I'm excited for him after this year, with learning from Aaron Rodgers, and then going into next year. It's more than likely going to be between him and Mason Rudolph. So hopefully it just makes both of them better. But the NFL, college football, everything about it, I know we're probably underway there in Columbus. We've gone 2 hours. This is our longest show yet. Great retention. Thank you to Martina for hanging with us, and the Tired Sports Network for putting us on this time slot for Saturdays. We went a little early special start time to roll into college football. So anything else before we send this one off and then come back next week? I will be solo, or until I can find someone to join me, since you will be away. So anything else before we roll into the best holiday out there and the best time of the year?
No. Everybody enjoy your college football Saturday, your unofficial national holiday of college football Saturday, and go Horns. You can find me, Lace 'em Up Sports Media, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. Go find me there. And of course, this is our show for Saturday SmackTalk. It was a great show. Loved it. And I'm super excited for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Tired Sports Network, Sleeper Sports Media, Lace 'em Up Sports Media, everything. You know where to go. The links down below, the links on the beacons, everything. You know where to go at this point. From Tired Sports Network, from Sleeper Sports Media, from Lace 'em Up Sports Media, Nick and Josh, Saturday Smack Talk. We will see you soon. I will see you next week. Josh will be back the following week, and just go enjoy college football. I still have some time before Penn State, but I know you're going to go right to the TV. Absolutely. And dive on in.
Bevo is in his spot on my recliner.
Hook 'em. Anyone that beats Ohio State, I'm for. And I'm gonna rewatch college game day and Big Noon Kickoff and see Dave Portnoy raise hell in Columbus as he does. And we will see you very, very soon. Thanks for tuning in across Twitch, across Facebook, across TikTok, and everything else on the network's page, our pages. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you very soon. We are out.